Welcome to May's edition of Watch Me Suck at Bowling, coming from the Playaway in Winchentucky, Kansas. If you remember, we came here before, but the place was closed, locked tight. We had to move our tenpin fun to God now. Alright, enough of the really bad southern accent crap. I was told the place will be open today, and they're having leaks, so hopefully we'll get a lane on the very end out of the way of things. So let's go inside and see what there is, and if there's any music, we're just gonna have to mute that, of course. Can I ever find a 10-pin place that doesn't play music? Apparently not. Anyway, they got a small selection of arcade machines over on the far wall, some tables and chairs for a small party or what have not. And over here are the bowling balls. Fairly decent selection for the size of the place. Unfortunately, not enough variance in terms of finger holes for the particular balls. Like all the 10-pound balls have a certain set, 11s have a certain set and what have not. And that made me go with a bigger ball, which you'll see later. Here we go. I'm going to be on lane 1, and as you can see, this is a 12-lane alley, the smallest 10-pin alley I've ever been to. Let's get into it. Here are the high and low scores as of now. Per usual, we start the month with showing you the high and low scores in all the disciplines, and here they are. In the land of the candle pins, the high of 136 still hasn't fallen, and that was done at Putnam Lanes in Fitchburg. Meanwhile, near the beginning when I started to play right, the low of 44 at Mason's, to no one's surprise, is where that came from. In the land of the ducks, we've broken it twice within a week. During the Watch Me Suck series, I broke it with a 122. Then a week after shooting that, I went to Collins for the duck hunt and broke it again with the current 147. However, the low of 58 did occur within the previous Watch Me Suck series, where the 122 happened, but the 122 was the fourth game and the 58 was the first. Talk about manic depressing. And then the land of the 10 pins. The impromptu, which was on Facebook due to music, sees a new high single of 158 up by 3 pins. And the two-handed approach did not work too well. And yes, 26 is a real low score number. And those are the highs and lows as of now. Watch Me Suck at Bowling is proud to sponsor the hit Candlepin TV show King of the Palace. Watch people from the Northeast throw tiny balls at sticks. If you like to see the show, type in King of the Palace in the YouTube search bar and watch in your heart's content. If you is loving it and you want to subscribe to the show, you go to youtube.com/newpalacelanes, hit that subscribe button, and then hit their thing called the notification bell thingy. And then you'll be notified of videos. So once again, lane number 1. And because of the odd sizes of the holes, the only ball that will work, that's the lightest, is 12. We'll see how that goes. And now it's time for those words you've been waiting for. It's now time to watch me suck at regular bowling. Game 1, frame 1, ball 1. Let's see if my fingers will last for the heavier ball. Once again, because every 10-pin house has music apparently, the audio is muted for the most part except for pinfall. There's the first ball, fall down, and, well, to no surprise, a gutter ball, especially right after another discipline. Ball 2, typical candlepin duckpin start. I mentioned duckpin this time because it was duckpin that I last played. Here we go, and yep, the typical start. Of course, that'll ultimately work itself out. Frame 2, ball 1. Haven't done that in a while. Changing from small ball to big ball physics, it tends to mess with you, going one way or the other. There's the first ball looking a lot better, and we got 6 of them. And for those of you who like the pin setters, here's the AMF clearing the dead wood. There it goes. Place the pins back down, and there you go.
Ball 2.
The 1, 2, 8, and 10. That's tough to pick up, but 90% of the lane will get us something. There goes the ball, and 1. For those of you who like the pin setter, here is setting a new set of pins, and while that's happening, here's the score, nothing in 1. 7 and 2, rough start, but like I said, changing disciplines, this is a typical thing.
Frame 3, ball 1.
At least we got on the board the second time around. Let's see if we can add some more. There she goes, a little off to the left, and 7 again.
Ball 2.
1, 2, and 8. That's kind of tough, which I've discovered this place is pretty tough. There's the ball just barely missing, another 7.
Frame 4, ball 1.
So far, it's been a pretty rough start, and finding out later that this indeed is a tough house, even from experience, doesn't help. And 7, the worst way, narrow leave.
Ball 2.
Narrow leaves like this are terrible, but in 10 pin you got 65% of the lane, and I managed to not find it. Even for a transitional game, this is a pretty rough one. And again, as I've said, I found this place is definitely tough, and the owner agrees. Only 3 7s, and it took 4 frames to get there. 21.
Frame 5, ball 1.
Being the very first 10-pin house, which the lanes are actually made of wood, kind of adds a new wrinkle to things. There goes the ball, and this time off the other way. In candlepin bowling, that leave would be known as the Caleri.
Ball 2.
I still wonder if Bob Caleri ever played 10-pin, which this leave is much easier to get, but no guarantees. Except this time.
Frame 6, ball 1. It'll stink of the bonus ball.
What will the bonus be? Let's find out. Hopefully it's a big number. Here comes the ball, and it lives up to its name. 1.
Ball 2.
It's a well-known fact in candlepin and duckpin that when a bonus is attached to the ball, people tend to do worse because of the emphasis of the bonus. Hence why it's called El Stinko. And 9. That's a little better if El Stinko, the bonus ball, didn't rear its ugly head with a 1 fill. So spare and 5, 9 and 6, 8 of those not making the fill, 41.
Frame 7, ball 1.
Very rarely has a transitioning game ever gone well, and this is more of the norm. And another narrow 7.
Ball 2.
Once again, 65% of the lane to get anything. Let's see if that'll happen this time. Well, that's an obvious answer. It's the 7.
Frame 8, ball 1. At least we're past the low.
At least we can say that much, even though it's not really a whole lot better. Here comes the ball, looking pretty good, and 9. The 5-pin all by itself.
Ball 2.
Smack dab in the middle. You got about 50% of the lane to touch it. There she goes. And this time we found it. Spare. Again, the transitional game, still a struggle. We got a 7 and 7, but then we got a spare and 8. So far we got a 58 with El Stinko to come. Hopefully El Stinko will not stink. Let's find out.
Frame 9, ball 1. It'll stink of the bonus ball.
What will the bonus be? Hopefully it'll be better than 1. So, Here it comes. And off to the side again. And El Stinko lives up to its name with a 4.
Ball 2.
At least the leave is very favorable for a spare. Let's see if we pick it up. There it goes, and there it goes. Into the gutter. Stink frame of 4. Just what we needed.
Last frame. This place is hard.
The ball does behave differently on wooden lanes. And it's nothing bad. It's something that you need to improve your game. There's the ball, and that's what we've been looking for. Now let's see if this strike can turn a really pathetic game into one that's just plain terrible.
El Stinko 1.
We are now into overtime, as these two balls are to fill in the strike. Here comes the first one. Not looking too bad. And 8.
El Stinko 2.
Either way, an 8 or a 10, it transitioned a game that was really horrible to just plain bad. And speaking of bad, that was a bad throw, but we got an 8. At least the very end went well, the rest of it not so much. We wind up getting an 84. The very end turned a really pathetic game into just a bad one. The spare, lousy fill, and a strike at the end with a decent fill. And that's the first episode from Playaway Lanes in Winchendon, Massachusetts. This is George F551 saying hope you enjoyed and have a good one.